Hey everybody, this is Richard of Ryden's Room doing my latest video. This time is for Bottom Series 2. Just completed this my many rewatches recently, so I thought it was time to do the new video. And got my Joker Pop Fungo. One of my friends I know will be watching this is a big Joker fan, especially the Joker of Batman 89, so I'm sure he'll like it. So yeah, straight to the video. Bottom Series 2, another 6 episodes. I've watched them all recently in the last couple of days. In fact, on Friday, I'm watching 4 in one night, 3 in a row, and then the finale before bed, which was pretty awesome. Only one I didn't bother watching was Holy, the Christmas episode, just because back in December, me and my wife watched loads and loads of Christmas shows, like TV specials, movies, etc. So it wasn't really worth doing it just a couple of months later. But that's fine. It's still a great episode. But yeah, on to the review. So the first episode is Digger. And this is where Richie and Eddie decide to go into the old-fashioned world of dating agencies. Eddie extremely confident with his video, and it shows Richie is not. But then he pretends to be the Duke of Kidderminster and tells anyone watching he's extremely rich, which pays off. He gets a woman who's extremely wealthy and plans to marry into her to take all of her money. Eddie gets Sarah Ferguson, is not impressed and walks out. So Richie arranges his date. He has to buy expensive food like caviar, and he ends up having to sell a kidney to afford it all. Has Eddie be his butler, the woman appears, she now believes his act. This is just his London pomme de terre, as he says, and eats all the food that he's bought in the caviar that he's just thrown in the bin, not knowing what it is, and then pulled out of a mixture of all sorts. It's pretty grim, but she eats it all, which she's horrified when she knows what caviar is. And then he decides to propose. She says yes. It turns out she's actually looking for a wealthy man herself because her family's in poverty and will be completely bankrupt and impoverished forever. She hates poor people. So yeah, neither of them are going to get anything out of that deal, but they don't know. And it's just absolutely great stuff. Richie finally gets his chance to achieve his lifelong ambition and have sex with a woman, and fails. He seems to have a heart attack. So that doesn't happen. Eddie then, takes one for the team and sleeps with her himself. Either he's the butler, he pretends to be rich by how he's got a few quid lying around the place, and happily, she likes stupidly rich men, so he just smashes the plate on his head, and Richie recovers in the ambulance several hours later, and it turns out he didn't have a heart attack. When Eddie's friend who took his kidney from him perform the surgery, he just rewired his system back to front. So it's pretty much Eddie's fault that he was unable to finally do it. Great episode. It's one of not my favourite on the series, but I enjoy it. It's a good laugh. Next episode, now this is a bit strange. On the DVD, it's Parade. In fact, my friend Bobby had a look at his earlier, and it's the same. Yeah, that's not episode 2. That's episode 4. And then episode 4 in here is Culture. So maybe it's some sort of error, but they've got them the wrong order. But yeah, I watched it second, even though it seemed a bit odd, but I'll go to it now. So Parade, with that episode, originally a part of a police lineup. They get paid to do it as the suspects. Sorry, they're they take place as the people in the police lineup who aren't the suspects, just as the thing they do. And get paid for services. Richie's trying to impress this barmaid, which talks about how he's a Vietnam War veteran, and manages to make an actual Vietnam War veteran very angry, who then proceeds to smash Richie's face in. Then they get this drunk bookie show up, claiming there's a dead cert on a 101 horse. Everyone is quick to get all their money. Richie and Eddie steal the Vietnam veteran's wooden leg, which is worth $2,000, but then you get 500 quid for it. And some guy gets 7p for his house. Harry the Bastard is a great character. Pretty funny, even though his name is actually Ted. And yeah, it's all a scam. Richie and Eddie lose. Everyone's cheated out of all their money, and Richie's revealed to have a very small penis. So Richie's quite mad. He's got no chance with the barmaid like he thought he did. And yeah, it was all a scam by the bookie and the pub owner dickhead. Pretty funny. Again, it's not one I often watch. It's kind of a dull episode. It's got its great moments, as Bottom always does, but I just thought overall, nah, it's not great. But there's some good moments. Richie and Eddie decide to mug a random person in the toilets because they've got to get the guy's wooden leg back from the pawn shop, and that doesn't work because the guy they decide to mug is the inspector. And at the end, they get thrown up into the identity parade, and the cops just beat Rich and Eddie to a pulp. Yeah, very funny, but not the best episode. It's probably my least favourite in the series. Episode 3 is Burglary. This is absolutely great. Richie and Eddie go to bed, and Nigel from EastEnders and another guy, a couple of hard burglars who stolen thousands of pounds worth of stuff. They rob the place. Richie has a little accident hanging off the light, which has blue lightning zapping him when he holds onto it. It falls off. He ends up breaking one of the burglar's ribs with his big bottom. And Richie and Eddie decide to call the police after they have no idea how to interrogate a burglar. Then find that they've got thousands of pounds stuff they could just sell on. The police are there. And that's obviously great when the police arrive. The sergeant's very friendly, calling Richie and Eddie sir all times. And then he's quite happily shoving Richie out of the way by the face and having his younger officer whack him with his truncheon. Pretty funny. Richie and Eddie, in the end, they fail to poison the burglar to death, which is their plan. It's pretty dodgy how they're willing to commit to murder, but it just seem like complete idiots of what they're doing. It's not particularly dark. It's over the top. Yeah, they poison the burglar with putting these pigeon poison pellets into the tea. Eddie supplies the tea, which is the yellow one has got the poison in it, except all 3 cups are yellow, so they force the burglar to drink all of them. Doesn't do anything, he's just sick. When the police show up, Eddie somehow sellotapes the burglar's body to the ceiling. When the police leave, the other burglar shows up, knocks Richie and Eddie out, saves his friend, and they just steal everything of value or no value in Richie and Eddie's house, including their clothes. So it's absolutely great. Next episode, 4th one, or rather, should be the 2nd one, Culture. It turns out their TV has been repossessed because they haven't paid any of their bills, and Richie and Eddie decide they need to have a night of culture. So various games from how much, sticking a piece of sellotape to the fridge in a take on Pin the Tail on the Donkey, which Eddie wins because he sticks the only last bit of sellotape on. Richie then wins the how much custard can you hold in your underpants competition, which Eddie loses when he sits down and the custard goes everywhere. And then their 3rd game is chess. Very funny. Richie's got this vintage chess set with pieces worth thousands each because they're a chessboard Wellington used for one of his major battles. And he, of course, has sold almost all the pieces and he drunk the money. They set up the chessboard with the insane pieces. They get frozen prawns to make up the pawns. They get a bottle of HP Brown sauce for the king. They have Spider-Man. The creativity is great. Also, the drinks they put umbrellas in the drinks, so I've just hold umbrellas in their hand. And it turns out Richie doesn't even know how to play chess. He's so excited and hyped for playing chess. He's got no idea. He just thinks it's a go around the board like Ludo or something. Eddie spends the whole night explaining the rules. Richie still doesn't get it. Does this eventually extremely over the top attempt to beat Eddie and loses. Eddie then, as if he's playing checkers, checkmates Richie, and of course he just descended into a big fight. And it turns out the TV was there all the time. Richie just hid it when the bailiff showed up. So Eddie responds, not happy that he couldn't watch the TV all night, but Richie wanted a bit of interaction between the two of them, and Eddie just smashes the TV over Richie's head. Very funny, one I often rewatch. Probably not as much as, say, Burglary from those two, but very funny. I just love this belief Richie has about how better he is than everybody, and how he wants to be this man of culture. He even wears this what's meant to be a smoking jacket. It just looks like an inside-out raincoat. Next episode, this is one I skipped, but I'll go through anyway. Holy, it's the Christmas episode. It's only 30 minutes, not a feature-length episode, which is probably a good thing, to be honest. Richie and Eddie's Christmas goes as terribly as usual. Richie poses as Father Christmas, while Eddie effectively hangs him until Richie pays him to let him down. All of Richie's presents are just the individual pieces for the Christmas dinner, like one Brussels sprout. It's another Brussels sprout. The turkey, everything. Eddie's Christmas present is a horrific painting that Richie's drawn of himself. Eddie probably smashed it over Richie's head. And Richie's present is a piece of toilet roll that's meant to have some sort of kaleidoscope effect with the words, "Thick off, you winker." What could it mean? Absolutely great. And yeah, Spike and Hedgehog show up for dinner. Richie's got all the food and somehow has incinerated it to a little piece of ash. It's all a complete disaster. They light up the trifle with vodka margarine. It just goes up like a Bunsen burner, and they have to spray out with a fire extinguisher because the dinner's a complete waste of time. And it just seems like that's perfectly normal. So he's like, "Next time then, lads." And then they have the miracle. A baby's left on the doorstep. Richie's convinced he's the Virgin Mother and the new wife of God. And yeah, it's not. Their landlord just couldn't be bothered to raise his grandson, so he just left them for Richie and Eddie. But they get a happy ending. The mother shows up to breastfeed in front of them, and they're more than happy. Yeah, very funny episode. I do love Christmas episodes, especially when they focus on actual Christmas as well. Rather, I mean, it's much like I love Father Ted. The writers have even said Christmas made it a bit harder because they had to focus on it. That's why you have like a lot of mad stuff, like the priest trying to steal the award, Mission Impossible style. But I can't see any problem. I imagine if I was writing a TV show, I wouldn't have too much trouble writing one. But yeah, they pretty much nailed it with Bottom. And then the last episode is Out, or rather Bottom's Out. This is one that was actually held back a bit because of a real life death. But Richie and Eddie, they are forced to spend a week on Wimbledon Common, and of course it's a disaster. Richie's only bought a sleeping bag, and that's it. Eddie's bought the can opener, but Richie's forgotten the cans of food. Eddie plans to live on a bag of chocolate hobnobs, and of course not share any with Richie. And it's just absolutely awful. You don't know how they're going to live. Like, they've built this awful tent that's absolutely tiny. Eddie doesn't have a sleeping bag, so he's just got to lie on the grass. And they realise nothing exciting really happens in the country until some mad streaker shows up, flashes them and runs off. And Richie works out well for Richie. So that guy's, he says, you wonder why they do it, don't you? With one as small as that. Mine's bigger than that, and mine's tiny. Tiny-ish. Yeah. Oh, great stuff. And they basically last less than one night. It starts raining. They put the tent back up after Richie attempts to beat Eddie to a pulp with it in their usual fights. They end up having to like catch a fish out of the pond, which is absolutely horrible. Eddie decides to just save it as evidence while Richie's trying to kill him. Richie eats it. It looks absolutely disgusting. Eddie drinks a bottle of scotch. Doesn't give any to Richie, of course. Or I've just given him the empty bottle, and then they go to sleep. It's pouring rain. That streaker shows up again. He's just completely insane. He's like laughing madly, and then like, God, like he reveals himself right inside their tent. Eddie zips the tent back up, and the guy runs off screaming. Great fun. And yeah, Eddie, who has zipped Richie's sleep bag up so tight to his neck, Richie can't even move. Eddie just cracks across the head with a mallet and leaves him there in the dog toilet area. Great episode. I do love series 2. Just saying to my friend earlier, it's probably like my favourite series. No bad episode, even if Parade's my least favourite one, but it's still like 8 out of 10 type level. But yeah, very, very good show, and I look forward to series 3. Still following Bottom Game On, Bottom Game On, so on series 2 of Game On, probably do a review for that in a few days. And then Bottom soon after. I've got some other videos to make as well, falling a bit behind. Some videos reserved on phone, not, I'm now recording them. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Hope you like the video. Please like and subscribe if you want, and see you next time. Thank you. Bye.